And welcome to Double Tap, guys, a Mash Those Buttons podcast dedicated to the FGC. I am, of course, your host, Meza, and I'm here with, of course, the one and only, Mr. Static Gorilla.
Co-host, that is. No, I'm kidding. I'm just messing with you. Yes, that is me. What's up? What's going on? How you doing? Like,
not much.
Distance to get to you, you know? Like
I know, right?
There you go.
I don't even know which way
for those,
reach that way, to the left.
For those that are watching us, we're missing a key component to our triple team.
Our triple threat. Come on, man! You got to use the wrestling notation.
Wrestling. Yeah, I know. My bad. But go on.
But of course, this is going to be Double Tap episode 349. Of course, it is going to be on the November 28th of 2023, where we're going to be introducing you guys, if you haven't seen or talked about fighting games. This is a podcast that you can learn some things, but if not that, you can also be returning and hearing some new things that are very interesting. We're going to be getting into a lot of good stuff today, but before we get into that, we're going to talk a little bit about our question of the week, because we posed some things. We talked about some things that we brought up last week, which was our question of the week was, if you could change one rule / aspect of the Nintendo community guidelines, what would it be? And we had a few people kind of chime in there, and let's see. For for that question, if we could change any aspect, somebody posted that they would remove the stipulation of food and drink. If I drive down to PA and play all day, I'm gonna be hungry. At least let the guy sell me some pizza or something. That's coming from Rob Mahikes. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. But yeah, I think that's a very interesting thing. When you look at that people don't want to not have food at an event. I personally would want to have food at an event. So yeah, that's something. Yeah, I don't think that's really healthy to not have.
Oh yeah, no. Driving, you gotta eat. so yeah, that's definitely not something that is. How do I say? Yeah, I agree. You're gonna drive, you gotta eat. Definitely one of the perks of going to the break. If you know of the break, Meza, I'm sure well versed as a Jersey dude. So yeah, but that's enough of that. Do we have another question of the week that you had in mind? Or
yes. Yeah, so we also had the other question, which was a poll we did, which was, so do you think Nintendo community guidelines will have a positive effect on the scene in the long run? And it was 100% no.
In my mind.
It's 100% no.
Oh, okay. I thought that's what you were talking about. My bad.
Yeah. So
we're catching up.
I'm in agreement with that. I definitely think it's a terrible call, but hey, they're gonna do what they do.
Now, do you have an updated question of the week for this week? Was what I was asking.
Yes, I do. So the updated question for the week that we're gonna pose to you guys, that's gonna deal with this show, is gonna be with the new balance patch, and this is gonna be your question of the week. With the new balance patch and updates, how do you see this changing the future landscape of the game for Killer Instinct?
Are you asking me now? Because I can answer.
No, you don't have to answer that.
You know what? We're about to get into it. Let me stop. We're about to get
because if we get into it, it'll be too much. Yeah, and of course, you guys can also look for our poll, which is going to be: do you see yourself coming back to Dragon Ball Z Fighters with the rollback? That's going to be implemented. So that's something to just think about. We'll post that out for you guys to check out on Spotify, in our Discord, and of course on Twitter, so that you guys can give us your feedback on that. But with that being said, now that we are past the fun stuff, we can get to the even more fun stuff, as we want to talk a little bit about Killer Instinct, which Killer Instinct is getting a new patch.
Yeah, so I caught on to the stream that was on, let me see, what date was it on? It was about 6 days ago, so about last Wednesday, I believe. And what happened is we've got a Killer Instinct patch. It wasn't necessarily, it was more like announcements. They have a new like gold season 10th anniversary developer stream that was happening, where they had like a definitive edition. The game is finally going to be on Steam as well. I mean, it was on Steam, but apparently Steam now includes free-to-play base Killer Instinct game. So that's something that's a plus. It didn't happen before. I was actually watching Max's stream that was sort of updating all of that information in there, which had all of that, plenty of information. If you go to Iron Galaxy's YouTube, they have that information there as well, and also on their Twitter. I'm sorry, their X posts. Go ahead, you were saying.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that they decided to do this. It's such a weird time considering how many games are currently out and doing really like either done their beta or coming out. I mean, it's really good timing, I guess, but weird timing because now they've released this, right? It's going to be coming out. Well, it's out already as we speak on this podcast, but it's just like, it's very odd because
Why?
Killer Instinct hasn't been the ranting rave for the past like few months. So for them to kind of just like throw their hat in the pool, it's kind of like a little random.
Well, I mean, every game to get an update later on, whether it's 10 years or so, or a balance patch, is quite positive and healthier for a game, I would say. Specifically Killer Instinct, which was such a big game at the time. Dare I say, people got an Xbox One for it, and then it finally came out for PC. People were getting it for PC, or at least Microsoft Store. But it was still just awkward and how to manage to play the game as well. Now it's finally sort of updated, and I believe now it's on Steam and or Microsoft Store, and I believe there's also crossplay. I think they're just doing all the right decisions, so I don't think I have to believe anymore in what you can do. So yeah, like there's a couple of other updates. Now the game is, as of today, available, the anniversary edition, so you can play all of the updates. Now most of the characters that were updated, let me see patch notes here, some characters didn't even get touched. Like there was certain buffs, nerfs, and things. Characters with no adjustments was like Saberwolf, TJ Combo, Conra, Riptor, Asako, Cinder, Shadow Jago, Arbiter, Mira, and Kilgore. They showed a lot of the different changes throughout the stream. I'm not going to touch on each one, but like Jago, Glacius, Thunder. Apparently Thunder's movement got buffed, and that's a grappler. You like your grappler characters and you like to move, there you go. Ooh.
I don't think he needed to be any faster than what he was, just because of his instinct mode. Like it makes him faster. So it's a little weird that they're going this route. I wonder if they're trying to entice people to really get back into the game, because it seems like there's a ton of nerfs. Okay, first off, let me just say for the record, I love the way they did buffs, nerfs, and their burfs, which I think that's a terrible name for nerfs and buffs. But I do like that they made it very simplistic to understand, which most games don't. The wording is usually terrible. So for them to just put a minus plus sign, or their plus minus sign, it makes things 10 times easier. But I do think it's kind of healthy when you think about it, looking at some of these buffs and nerfs. And I wonder if this is going to affect more of the hardcore competitive community, or if the casual players are going to see this as more of like a good entry point.
I think at this point, this is only a competitive game right now. Like, and I say that because, the Killer Instinct is not going to reach the same audience that Mortal Kombat will. But like, so then therefore, there's not a very casual scene that's playing it. Like Fulgore, he got a bunch of changes, like his dashes, or not his dashes, his adjusted block stun for all normal uncharged versions of Blade Dash. Like there was a bunch of Blade Dash adjustments. Like they're actually more negative on block now, but you can do different changes to them, whether it's on hit or even like the follow-ups. Remember the follow-ups before used to be to a specific button, and now they're even more. Now, to me, honestly, I'll be honest, I'm more of a casual player of it myself, but I can't really tell the difference because there's so much going on. I'm still new to the combo breaker system in this game. Like the lockouts are still like, and then the counter breakers, all of those, that's still sort of new to me. But again, I was trying to learn the game, and then I fought Hisako once, and I was like, I'm done. So I was not in the mood of her very active counter at the time. But yeah, like again, I think I was paying attention. I don't know what I was doing, but I was streaming and watching at the same time. It was they nerfed the hell out of Aganos, and I didn't even notice he was like a strong character. I knew he was strong, but being so slow and large and you know, such a big wall of a character, I didn't know his changes were so effective. But yeah, there's a lot of changes that they made to, I feel like, either problematic characters or just characters that needed an adjustment that made more sense. Like Arya, she's a Marvel character. She needed some sort of adjustment, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, she has she's three characters in one, so it feels like these nerfs and buffs were things that were screamed for years ago, and now it's happening because of the 10th anniversary, right? So it's like, are they going to wait for the 20th anniversary to do another balance patch, or is this just going to stay consistent? Because quite honestly, I'm pretty sure a lot of the players, and they still do run tournaments for this game, I think a lot of the players are going to enjoy this, but it just feels like, I don't know, like 8-7 years too late for this type of patch. So I mean, look, it's quality of life. It's always good to see a game get patched, but at the same time, it's like, is this a little too late for this? Should they continue patching it? It's kind of like 100 questions, but I mean, the patch is here. I definitely say get your hands on it yourself. There is tons to learn if you haven't played the game before, but with these buffs and nerfs, it probably won't matter to you. You'll just pick a character you like. But I think for veteran players, it's going to be a little bit more reading, fact-checking, playing with the community. And it seems like, I will say, since their last update, there was a ton of people who came back, but I don't know how long that stint lasted for. So that's kind of something you might have to look into and see if they're still very consistent with the player base after that.
Well, I mean, it feels like it's more of a community game at this point. Like Keats was the one who was working on the balance as well. He's part of Iron Galaxy, as well as the other guy who was in that video, James Goddard, at DJ James Goddard. And Sajam was actually after the stream, you know, sort of was streaming the actual patch he had on there. But again, it is live now. To this moment, you've probably already realized how Thrasher has been nerfed to heck. So definitely go ahead and check it out. I'm going to be putting my 2 cents in there too. Omen was my last character I played with. He was pretty cool, but I know nothing else other than like Jago and Saberwolf.
Yeah, I'm more of an Arya and Mirror player, so I'm very curious to. Huh?
You don't use Sadira?
Not anymore. I kind of moved away from her after a while because Arya was kind of like the Marvel character outside of Sadira. Like, I still play her from time to time, but it's very rare. I don't know. I would definitely be willing to check out the game and see what's changed. But it's like, I like to look at Tekken. It's similar where it comes to like, you need to have a lot of knowledge on the game. And once you learn the game, you have to stay a little consistent to keep at it. But for someone who commentates it, it's fun to commentate. I will say that. So I wonder if this will change and get me back into commentating it a little bit more.
Gotcha. Okay, no problem. That being said, do we do a quick segue, my friend?
To an ad break? Absolutely.
All right, not a problem. We'll catch you back in just a few seconds. You guys can listen to this ad for just a moment.
And welcome back, guys. As we're going to be talking about something that took a little long to get back to us, which would be, of course, some Dragon Ball Z rollback.
Did we make a bet about this, or did we make a bet about the beta, or did we make a bet about it releasing?
No, it was about it releasing. Okay, I definitely think I lost that. I think I lost that.
Oh,
I said what?
I lost because I said it would. I said it would come out before. I think it was the beta. I said about both. You guys said one beta, and then the other beta, and I said both.
I just said it wasn't coming out until after. After. Yeah.
Well,
my theory.
We had.
But
we got an announcement of no, it's not an announcement of an announcement. That was what all of the legendary previous announcements were for Dragon Ball. But Dragon Ball FighterZ is having a beta test for the rollback netcode on November 30th until December 10th. There's one catch though. It is all on Steam. All of it. Did you know that?
Yeah. I'm actually okay with that. Because you know what's going to happen.
Of course we're okay with it. What's going to happen? Is they data mine?
It's going to get broken just like somebody is going to get somebody's going to get it so that we could just use it for the time being. I don't know, maybe. But I don't know how network code works for rollback. If somebody can obtain it and then keep it for everybody to use, probably wouldn't be surprised. But
in this case, why? Because it's not like it's a game that's going to be, well, dare I say, it's not like it's a game that's not out. So, I mean, jailbreaking it would be kind of obsolete unless you're just trying to play with your homie. At that point, just play on like Parsec or something.
Modder's gonna mod. You gotta think of it that way. But I mean, this is good. A little delayed considering.
Little.
Yeah, we're gonna say a little delayed. All right, just a little.
Dude, people have aged a year and a half.
Yeah, you're right. It was a long ass time. I'm just curious why their time frame November 30th to December 10th. Why it's such a short time? I know that may not seem to. I actually think that's really short for how long it's been. Look, they waited a whole year and like a half, maybe almost 2. I think it should have been all of December.
Wow. Okay. All right. So you're trying to say that they should make up for time?
Yeah. I mean, maybe do 2 beta tests, right? Do like they're doing, November 30th to December 11th, and then take like 4 or 5 day break, come right back, and then all the way through Christmas. I mean, obviously they have to celebrate Christmas themselves, but I definitely think that's something they should do just to make up for that lost time and to also, kind of please some of the crowd. I mean, look, it doesn't have to be good. It just has to please the crowd. Just for a bit.
Oh, it says November 30th to December 11th. I don't know why it changed. I guess time zones. But no, I think it's fine. 11 to 10 to 11 days. That's plenty, especially since we only got 3 days for the Grand Blue one. We only got 3 days for the Unist one or Unio or Uni.
Which were like back to back, so that felt like 6 days of playing a beta, which is cool. I mean, but those are like technically new games, so this is not really a new game. If you played it,
only if you played it. Like for me, I only got like a couple minutes to play. Played at my friend's house, like, this is cool, the music's new, and Grand Blue, I was like, home. This is cool, and then I was streaming Grand Blue, and then I got a crazy old conversation, so that was fun. I think and by the way, with the new changes that have already come to the game sort of already got revamped. There's a hell of a lot of players already playing this game a lot, whether it's on like the player base doesn't go down really that often. If it does go down, it's going down by a very small. It's not going down exponentially. It's going down very slowly.
They never implemented crossplay yet.
No, I don't think so. No,
that's going to be the big deciding factor, I think, down the road with this beta for rollback. If that can be implemented into all like console and PC. And then they can mash it together and say, hey, we're going to do crossplay. I think that would be the highlight out of all of this beta, because in all the waiting time, because that's the most important, is they need to be able to retain and then capture new player base and have people crossplay. And I think that's going to bring a lot of players back because they want to be able to play each other, even though they probably own it for both console and PC at this point in time from it being on sale. But yeah, no, I mean, if you haven't, make sure you guys get yourselves prepared. Reinstall your, I think it's like 30 gig, little under 30 gigs, maybe 20 something gigs for Dragon Ball FighterZ on PC. For a PC.
Are you kidding me?
Isn't it 32 gigs?
The game's like 4 gigs.
Oh, is it like 4 gigs? I thought it was so much.
Yeah, it's okay. I lied. No, it's like, I lied. It's a whopping 6.39 gig.
Oh, perfect. Right, that'll be done in like 5 minutes, not even 2.
Compared to Marvel Infinite, you know how big that game is? 58.21.
Why? Okay, we know it's the costumes, right? Because they need to update the game. We don't talk about that. But speaking of new costumes and whatnot, Capcom has taken themselves into the past, like many games are doing, but they've decided to throw some old costumes mixed with some new costumes for their Costume 3 trailer. And so it's very interesting the routes they went with these costumes, and Luke being one of the main ones that people were asking for a return. I think the costumes are just kind of awesome, but at the same time, some are really bad.
Yeah, some are generic. Seen all of them. I have.
Like, are you cool with the? I know you've played Luke before, but are you okay starting with like the fact that Luke is getting his old costume, Blanca's getting his old costume?
I think it's a little lazy. Sure, it's a bit lazy, but I did like this costume more. I like the tattooed UFC fighter type deal with Luke. I don't know. This is my preference. I did use that outfit in the last game, so like, yeah, but I still felt it was a little bit lazy. But again, it still doesn't explain how he got the tattoos back. Especially, this is like, it just feels like it's for that game.
Like, yeah, it's a little weird. I mean, I do like a lot of the new costumes, from DJ's costumes to Manon's costumes. They've done in my opinion, I think they did a really good job of capturing these new styles with the street style and the graffiti and tossing it all into one bag. But I know people are going to love the Geef costume. It's pretty much Mayor Geef. Man, seeing these old costumes like Blanca, it's just overdone. It's a little lazy, but even seeing like JP's costume is pretty cool. I wish it had a little bit more detail, because the concept arts to the actual costumes are vastly either different or as close as they could get with the body structure. Because, they're going to draw it differently.
You don't like JP's?
I think it's not baggy like enough. It feels like it should have a little bit more bag to it. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it feels like it's too tight on him. And I feel like it should have like a more loose feel to it. Like because like his concept has more of a loose feel to it. But I think it's just his body structure makes it so much more tighter than it's supposed to be. But I do like the costume.
I mean, if you go in the YouTube page, by the way, in the YouTube video, there's, if you've watched YouTube in the last, I don't know, year or so, there's a lot of most replayed locations. And let's just say one of them is one of the best outfits, I think, in the game so far. And it's definitely Juri, but it's kind of like people are sick.
It's a like
Juri costume is a onesie. Yeah.
Once it shows up at like 49 seconds, people are like flipping out. I definitely think it's probably one of the better costumes. I'm gonna say something a little controversial. I definitely think it's a little lazy outside of the detail. It is hella lazy, man. That was the easiest costume they can make. Let's be real. It was super easy. All they had to do was put a onesie on her and then just focus on detail, right? But I'm a big fan of cammys. I think cammys is like, if not contention for the best. It is the best. Maybe I'm just because I'm a cammy player, but that costume's so sick. I hope they allow like second round, she could just take it off and throw it away, like how they did in Street Fighter 5, which I did like that they could just kind of remove the costume. So I'm kind of curious if they do that again.
What, the costume codes?
Yeah, where you could just hold a button, like hold 2 buttons or 3 buttons, like Yuri and stuff like that.
They need to bring that back like yesterday.
Yeah. Okay,
like, so how do you feel about like alternates? Oh,
go ahead. You finish what you're saying.
There.
Yeah, I just like
that you could put variety to costumes for certain characters just by holding those buttons.
So how do you feel about Guile's costume? Because he's probably one of the people who looks the most drastically different.
I feel like he's trying to impress his oldest son. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like his oldest son sort of was like, hey dad, you want to do the samurai haircut? He's like, sure son, I'm tired of the box haircut anyway. And ta-da, that's the guy we get,
I feel like it's a little bit of maturity, like get rid of the whole military. Like, he looks like he became a bartender, and he's just like looking out for, the bar. sometimes he has to get a little serious. So, you know, he has the ponytail up. I don't know. I just think it's super dope that they're willing to change the hair and the costumes to be different. But unfortunately, there's one character that kind of got the brunt of everything, which was Ken, aka Maximilian. It's sad, man. They said that's Maximilian, but Troubleshooter in DNF Duel was done so well for Maximilian.
Oh yeah.
How did we get here? How did we get to this point where Ken looks so bad?
Bad? Oh man.
You like it?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yes, I do.
Yo, people are coming for you, man. That costume is not good.
That costume is fantastic.
You like the Ken costume?
Yes, it is. I love the Ken costume. My brother was like, I don't get it. You don't like it. I don't like it. I don't care if the hair looks bad, man. It's what Ken is supposed to be. Even in the document that they released today on Twitter, like the statement they made, they were like, oh yeah, Ken is like, if JP didn't like double cross him. Sorry for spoilers to the story because I don't know the story. But yeah, like I like it. It's like a biker outfit. I like the concept more than I do like the actual visuals though. I'll be honest with that. They kept the Ken eyebrows. Okay. He's got a motorcycle sort of outfit with him, you know, like definitely it's definitely the guy.
Better job. I feel like they did such a better job in other places. Like the outfit looks fine. It's just the hair, the face. I don't know. People are still screaming for Alpha.
Oh, of course they're gonna always.
We're not gonna
they always want the ponytail. Yeah. We got it in 4,
but
you know.
That's true. I mean, look,
long
guys, if you haven't, that's true. This pack is coming out December 1st. So if you guys want to get your hands on it, yeah, it's December 1st. So if you guys want to get your hands on it, definitely go check it out. There's tons I know we didn't probably sit here and talk about, but we'd be here having a full episode of like 50 minutes to talk about these costumes because there's so many cool ones, from Manon's to Geef's to even Jamie's, Kimberly, like everybody. I actually hate Kimberly's, but that's besides the point. But there are really
just one last statement. Lily's is not a Talon reference. Get that out of your mind. Talon is
okay.
Not,
I definitely can't.
Caliber are not the same.
It's not.
Why
but
not?
That is a Talon costume for sure.
Of course,
it's a little bit more on the
like Talon, but it's definitely a Mexican reference. Yeah, but it's not.
But
Talon.
She's Native American, so that's even weirder.
No, she's from Mexico.
So she's not like T-Hawk.
Yeah, T-Hawk is Mexican.
Is he?
Yeah. His location is Mexico in Street Fighter 2.
Oh.
You know how many times I lost to him in Street Fighter 2? All right. Anyway.
Yeah, it just never really hit me. I always thought like he was from somewhere else, and I guess it makes sense. Because we haven't seen. Did he have an outfit like that? No, he never had an outfit like that.
Kind of. He had he had the sort of Mayan outfit in 4.
Yeah.
4 outfits were kind of crazy, but that's something we can look up at another date.
Yeah. But we're gonna jump right into Capcom X's trailer, which is for the Pro Tour. Capcom decided to release a trailer. They do this a lot, but they released a new trailer for the Capcom Pro Tour series, I guess you could say. That's a little bit more personable. I think they did a pretty damn good job on capturing those great moments for Capcom Cup. It just felt like it melded really, really well together. And if you guys haven't seen it, it's on their Capcom Fighters YouTube page. It is fun. It is hype. It makes me, it kind of sends chills down my back because it reminds me of like old school trailers. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Gabe. Have you?
I'm watching it, but I'm watching it now, but at the same time, I have an issue with Capcom Cup right now because it's not the easiest thing to follow. Like, it seems like there's events happening a lot of the time, but like other events are getting more, more entrance. A lot of people aren't, and exposure. Like, because I think it's because so many were thought to be online, and that we've already done the 3 on offline ones. So I'm like,
It seems fast.
People just
seems like it's just kind of going.
Yeah, yeah. Are people not entering because it's online? Or I thought there was only one East Coast one that's in January, but no, there's a couple of East Coast like World Warrior events, online events that are like roadmaps or something like that. Like that I didn't even know were happening. I mean, I wish it was a bit marketed better. Like obviously we've all known about the $2 million and $1 million at stake, but like, are we gonna get to know how to do it? Like we got to go to the website, we got to do this, we got to do that, and it's like, how exhausting is that for anybody who? Wait a minute, we got announcements for. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't know that they were announced.
It feels like a disconnect compared to the previous years. Yeah,
definitely, and also the other disconnect is like, if you want to do the last chance qualifier, you have to be off for a whole week from work to go there. Like, is that something I want to do?
We talked about this before. We talked about this before. Last chance qualifier has always kind of been weird because when they did the extended version for the first time last year, it was just like people were like, do we really take off for this? Like, how does this work? Is it worth it? And I mean, I think now it's more worth it than anything because you're playing for way more money and way more prestige. But at the same time, do you think that this is kind of like a video that's like, hey, we're kind of sorry, but we just want to like hype you up because it's coming, but forget about all the bad stuff?
What do you mean bad stuff?
I mean, like the disconnect, like the disconnect between, because I do feel it. Like, I don't know when tournaments are running, even though we've talked about when the tournaments are going to happen, right? So it doesn't feel like they're being promoted very well. It seems like, oh, no, it's on. Go watch it on
stuff.
YouTube,
yeah, yeah. So and I think,
not sure.
And if this is going to be Capcom Cup number 10, I feel like there should be more of a celebration of the rest of the Capcom games, or at least the fighting games. To be honest, I'm sorry being the Debbie Downer of this trailer, but
it makes sense though. Like, do you feel like they should have had like Street Fighter, like they should have showcased from the beginning of like maybe Street Fighter Turbo, like 2 Turbo, and it got maybe up to this
even
point?
So. Yeah, maybe even so, or just even like
Street
Fighter. They did nothing. They did nothing with like Street Fighter Anniversary Edition, the one that came out a couple years back. Even with the Darkstalkers game, they did nothing with. And you know, I'm just hoping that maybe we get an announcement then, or maybe we get an announcement at the Video Game Awards. I don't know, but that's just something that I wish would just, you know, it's just not hyping me up.
You're getting characters. That's
I'll
what
watch it.
You're getting characters. But I mean, nonetheless, it's still a good video. Obviously,
yeah, you know, it's hyped up. It hypes up, no doubt.
Because I mean, I think they want the focus to be strictly on Street Fighter 6, like leave everything else in the past, right? It's a little weird. It's in February, which right before that is going to be Frosty Frostings. So that kind of throws things into a weird state of affairs, because Frosty Frostings is like the last weekend of January. Then, you know, you get like a week off and then you're this, right? So it's like, do you take your time off from Frosty Frostings or and go to Capcom, you know, last chance qualifiers, or do you just go to Frosties and just forget about last chance qualifiers, right? So, and it feels like this has arrived way sooner than it should.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we were supposed to have like another few more months of this. Does it not feel like that?
Like I said, yeah. Well, like I said, we have a couple more qualifying events that are happening coming up. Like I said, I believe the East Coast one is in January. At least that's what I remembered, and I wanted to enter. But I mean, obviously, there's already East Coast like smaller offline events, and also this is sort of being outsourced by other companies that are registering for the event, or not registering, but are running the different like Smash GGs for it. So again, I'm severely confused because I saw a lot of different like conflicting dates when I was looking up how to sign up, and I was just like, you know what, it's too much for me. It's not worth $1 million to try to figure it out.
Yeah, we can't all be the millionaires of the game. But moving on from that, guys, we're going to be jumping into a little bit of MK here, as Mortal Kombat has kind of let some things slide under the radar when it comes to costumes. It's not normally known for many games to do this, but it seems like their costume system, from what it says, is that a post from Ice Cream FGC Do not buy this. Alert, all last season items can be purchased by changing the date on your PS5 to any date before 6th of November. Load up your game, buy all the last season items, and you can complete the last season's mesa. When you have done so, change the date back to the present day, and you can keep Why do people type like this? Oh, because they didn't have enough.
Because he's trying to keep
Twitter blue.
Yeah, 140.
It's not Twitter blue. But this kind of reminds me of like Pokemon when we used to do like money hacks or like changing the day for being able to get more, like in Pokemon, I think it was Sword and Shield, where you used to change the day and you could do a new Dynamax or Gigantamax Pokemon. This kind of reminds me of that, but this is like, well, I mean, this is not good for the game, I would imagine.
No. This is not about being. I mean, it's how do I say? It's bad in the sense of, you're cheating the entire game's like, dare I say, online system or their online currency, but it's sort of like people had, how do I say? So you can finish the mesas to get everything, right? The mesas, that's part of the invasion angle. But also there was a lot of money that you actually accumulated, and I didn't get into the game those last 3 weeks after like before that update with Omni-Man. I didn't play the game, and then I missed out on all of that update. So all of my premium tokens were gone. So what do I do with them? Can I go back in time and use those tokens and buy stuff that I was going to buy anyway? Because now I have to actually buy the stuff with like the new in-game's currency with the new season. So is it, how do I say? It's a smart hack because you're still using in-game currency. You're still playing the game, right? You're going back to use the in-game currency to get the rest of the stuff from in the game. It's a rough decision. It's a rough thing to go through. Go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, I just feel like it's breaking like it's like TOS for the game.
The
like you are. I mean, you are breaking TOS. Let's be real. You are effectively changing the way you use the game, and it's almost like a mod, but it's not. It's kind of like,
why don't
you're effectively.
But if you go back and use the money and don't play the mesas out, is that wrong?
I mean, but what if they rehash it back out as a retro and they say like, hey, it's back, but we have even more stuff? Or, I kind of look at it as like, but you have to use the new currency that we give you so that to get you to play more, or something like that, with new added additional things. I don't know. I think it's just a little weird that they miss something. Well, okay, it's not weird. It's NRS. But it is a little weird as a big company to miss something like this.
I think it's more weird to not be transparent that the money was going to go away.
That is true.
I am HO in my honest opinion. So I didn't know it was going away.
I mean, I think that's kind of weird that they changed the money system and then they go, okay, well, this isn't happening anymore. We're going to change it to something new for the new message so that nobody can go back and use it.
They reset it to 0.
It's just for the new season. Oh, they reset it to 0. But then doesn't that mean you don't have money for if you go back in time? Or you have to rebuild it back up and go back in time? See, that's the weird part that I'm not.
Should have checked that in the video.
I mean, well, I don't think it's really something that it showed, because I think he had money already prior. So I don't know. It's just this situation kind of brings forth a little bit of should bring forth attention to NRS that I'm all for doing things in the moment. Get the bag, get the skins. Cool. If you choose to do that, that's your choice. But do I think it's healthy for the game? Probably not, considering they need to do some other things to effectively make sure that this doesn't happen again. Because if this is going to happen every season, I mean, who knows what this might do? They might have actual content for the future. And then imagine if we travel forward. What if we unlock that content, right? Something like that. that could effectively hurt the game in the long run. So I'm looking at it more for the distant future instead of it being for what is past happened. Like the past, I don't really care too much. You can, if you got the skins, cool. If you didn't, you want to go back, get them, cool. But I definitely think it'd be bad if we could move our time forward and then get, anything that they've prepped for scheduled, let's say in the next 2 to 3 months, you move forward and now you're getting that stuff. You're breaking the game essentially. So
yeah,
I'm a big fan of that.
You were breaking the game when you were trying to evolve that Pokemon by putting it in or getting an egg. No, I'm kidding. That's a totally different. You wanted to bring it to Pokemon and bring it back full circle.
I'm just saying, Pokemon did it right. All right, they didn't stop us.
I would only change the time when I was a kid to catch like Elekid in the mornings. Or
you didn't do it in Sword and Shield to get to not to do money, but to get.
I didn't play Sword and Shield competitively, unfortunately. I played this one competitively. Sword and Shield. Yeah, but I never learned how to Dynamax a Pokemon.
Okay, that's fine.
I got Urshifu and I didn't know what to do with it. But that's a competitive game. I do want to get into competitive Pokemon, by the way, but nobody wants to battle me. Not my friend Meza here, not his roommate Rob. He's battled me.
I'm available whenever, man.
Okay, whatever. See my Milo tick, dog.
Oh my god, this guy. But with that being said, guys, whether you choose to use it or not, that's up to you. I'm gonna say for me, it's a your choice thing. I hope that NRS eventually, covers their tracks, fixes some things, because this is something we've been seeing since the beginning of the game, where it's kind of not been super good, right? We've seen a lot of the ups and downs. This is only stacking on to their issues at hand, and I don't want it to go to the back burner.
Yeah, and one quick thing, Tremor is, by the way, out in the game. I forgot about him. But he is very cheap seeming. He looks like to be the assist that everybody can use, and he can also just go variable throughout it all. And he also has this like homages to other fighting games. Like, did you see his V reversal or whatever that's called? Is a combo break? The
one where he like
basically.
No, I didn't.
No, it's Gamma Crush.
You're talking about the
like Hulk.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks good. He looks good. But I mean, we could talk a little bit more after this ad break. We'll talk a little bit more about Mortal Kombat and the state of the game, I feel, where we can kind of give our little bit of insight from what we've last seen and played. But guys, sit tight. We're just going to take a quick ad break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, guys. As I said before, we're going to talk a little bit about MK1 Tremor and a little bit of the state of the game and where if we've seen tournaments. I don't know if you've been watching any, Gabe. I've watched a little bit, not a lot. But it seems like
yeah, I've only been watching Chris G play. And he's been using like a variety of different characters like Sub-Zero and I don't know, like yesterday he was using Ashra, and Ashra's already been good since the beginning, but like it's just he's obviously not trying to use the oversaturated Lindsay low hat, as I like to call it. Low hat has just been the meta right now. Besides like Cyrax, they're gonna have to nerf low hat even on block of being +2. But everybody's gonna find something else to make it cheaper. To make something cheaper.
I mean, you've played versus games like me. It's inevitable. You're gonna find the next best thing.
MK players don't know versus games.
No, I mean, I wouldn't say MK, but I would say NRS. NRS doesn't know versus games, but no, I feel like Tremor does look a lot better than I did say it the last time when I was looking at Tremor. I kind of called it out. I said, I think he's going to be very terrible as an assist. He seems to be one of the more mechanically better characters, but I still see the problems with the assisting of the game. But they're still stuck in this mindset that they need to keep pumping out content for the game, and they need to, never get to fixing old assist for other characters to be used. And as I've heard from Christy himself and other people, Tremor's kind of only used for very specific characters if you want to get the most out of them, which is kind of sad again, because we're seeing that same rotation. It's not like Cyrax where you could use Cyrax with everybody. Can't say it's going to be great, but it still was used, right? So same with Kung Lao right now. We're seeing where he's used for any and everybody. Like even casuals are still using Kung Lao. They're still using Cyrax. Yeah,
no, I see a lot of Frost use, to be honest. Like once that way back when Sonic Fox had that event with the rapper, I forget his name.
It wasn't 2 Chainz. Oh God, Waka Flocka. There we go.
Wow, thank you.
Sorry, they fall in the same category for me.
Wow. Yeah. Once they had that event, I saw a lot more Frost just being used, just like low ice, and I'm like, oh. But now I'm seeing Chris G use Ashra. Yeah, well, Chris G's using Ashra with the other ice stuff, and using the DiCaprio hands, and then using also the apparently the iceberg is like +4. So I mean,
yeah, it's really good
stuff to be found that people are just not using.
Well, I mean that's also because everything else looks a little, I wouldn't say intimidating, but a little like turned offish, and makes you play a different character. Usually the benefit from it the most. But you know, that's why I kind of like go back to Tremor. I really feel like Tremor has, yes, a versatile skill set, but he still kind of falls under that category of character that still needs assist, that still needs to fall, or cameo, and needs to fall with specific characters to be useful. Like Goro can be used in every form, fashion, shape, yes, right? Because he has unblockable, he has, you know, an extension for block strings and even combos. So it's just like, well, where's everybody else? Like Sonya Blade's a good character that I saw in the beginning we were using, and then she kind of fell off because she didn't really have the best assisting in certain scenarios.
Her ambush is just the flight. Yeah, and then there's like Goro is one of those characters that I see a lot of like successful players use. There's one guy who came to the lab who was using Raiden Goro, and I've never seen that before, but what it is that he's using it to force you to like block low in certain electrical situations, and then Goro just grabs you. So like there are definitely, you know, reads that go into those characters, and I actually make them strong. Like even Montaro. Did you know Montaro actually has one of the fastest X-rays in the game, or fatal blows in the game?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know he had his own fatal blow at startup.
Yeah, he has to use usually General Shao uses it because it makes it easier.
But even Reptile has a slow fatal blow, and then if you just hold the assist, I think you just hold the assist button while doing a fatal blow, and Motaro punches.
Yeah, he comes out with the punch. Yeah,
it's like 12 flames. Yeah. 12 frames. Yeah.
12 frames. Well, General Shao had the problem with being able to connect a lot of his combos in the beginning, because most people didn't know yet, like a lot of the combo routes. But even when he has the harder combo routes that doesn't lead into fatal blow, they were using Montaro. That's why I think they hinted towards us during those combat casts that Montaro was going to be like really good for General Shao, right? Obviously, outside of the general tools of, you know, reflecting projectiles and stuff like that and covering him, I'm trying not to say generally because I wanted to say that. But they definitely, yes, they generally said he essentially helps General Shao be able to finish his combos with a fatal blow. So I think that they got the right idea for some of the assisting. And we're starting to see people use Striker a little bit more to cover like Cyrex bases. So I think there's some room for improvement on the assisting side for Interest itself. But I also think it's also for players to explore a lot more too. Yeah,
but not many players are doing training room. I'll be honest. They're just repeating what they see. And then
that is true.
And that's very like a very casual mindset I'm having of, or no, I'm sorry. It's a mindset that I have of as if I'm seeing casual players every day, which is a lot of the times a player base can be. There aren't, to me, I don't feel like aren't many. I don't think you're learning much going into ranked these days. Like you can learn a lot more in training mode and maybe even playing a buddy.
That's hard for people to use nowadays because training mode is difficult. So, you know,
it's limited.
It's complex for them.
And then there's Omni-Man.
Yeah, I mean, look, I gotta be honest. Like, I'm not saying I'm not going to use it either, but I'm kind of on that Omni-Man, Goro, like, you know, hype. But I'm going to be looking for other characters too. And I just think that we're just in how we used to always say back in the Columbus phase, right? We're in the discovery phase where that balance patch made people get off of Cyrex. Unfortunately, go to Kung Lao, even with a little bit of the nerfs that he has, they're still like, hey, you need to explore the rest of the game, and we're starting to see players do that, right? Especially on streams, people are like, okay, let's explore this, let's try that. People are going back to Natara, people are going back to these characters. We're seeing more Tanya's pop up, which nobody thought was a good character. Now we're seeing it more often. So yeah,
I knew her potential, but I never. I knew her potential, but I never was looking. No, she's good. She's solid. I just felt lazy because I felt like she was really a lot to deal with, or a lot to figure out. Different stances.
I mean, with hers, yeah, the glowing stances and stuff. But I mean, I think we're going in the right direction for MK1 if they want to see longevity for the game. But they have to keep putting out better assist. I think Tremor is kind of the start of that. I think if we progressively see them get more creative and kind of let things kind of run off and fly off the leash, it'll probably be a lot better of a game.
But here we are.
Yeah, we're in this weird state. But guys, with that being said, I know it seems like it was a short show, because it was. There wasn't too much going on outside of tournaments, tons of tournaments. So if you guys haven't gotten your hands on that, go check out some of the EU tournaments that have passed. I know Ultimate Fighting UFA. I never remember what the A is. But UFA just passed. They had Street Fighter, they had Mortal Kombat. That was really fun to watch a little bit of that. I think they also had Capcom Pro Tour for Asia just passed as well. I'm trying to keep up with it, man. It's all around the same time. So yeah. So, but we wanted to say, that's gonna pretty much be it for us today, guys. We want to thank you guys for, of course, watching. Well, if not watching, listening. And we want to say, without you guys, we obviously couldn't continue to keep doing this. So, with that being said, thank you for first and foremost, as I do this. Thank you for listening, guys. Also, don't forget to check out our social media networks. Myself, obviously, I do my own hosting on Twitch now. TV and back, MezFGC, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all those things. Doing my championships, which is going to land on December 16th now, I found out. So you guys can check that out. And Gabe, where can they check you out?
You can find me at Static Gorilla on most major platforms. Not platforms, but social media handles, Twitter, or X, and also anywhere. Twitch is mostly where you can find me. That's the spot when I'm streaming. But I'll definitely be streaming restreaming and or watching the Video Game Awards. That is coming in next Thursday. Don't forget to vote for Street Fighter and or Mortal Kombat, whatever your favorite fighting game is. But
Street Fighter.
Make sure a good. I don't want to be biased. Street Fighter 2, but Street Fighter 6 to be exact. But yeah, we're definitely. I'm pushing to vote Street Fighter to be best fighting game of the year, in my opinion. But yeah, we're going to be looking out for that, and it's definitely there's announcements that we want to look for.
And of course, you guys can check out the additional podcast if you're looking for something a little different than fighting games on mashthosebuttons.com/shows, where you can check out shows like Drop in Spicy or limited series such as like Lightkeeper Protocol or Squad Goals. Just get a little taste of everything if you're looking for something different. Also, don't forget, you guys, we encourage you guys to, of course, contact us via, comments, questions, and, join our community, whether it be through Twitter, whether it be through Discord. You can definitely contact us that way so that you can get more integrated with us and, maybe a little bit more personal, where we can see what you think of the show and also think of us. So, or just fighting games in general. And then, of course, guys, make sure you share. Sharing is caring. It helps us. It helps you. Definitely share it with anybody you think might be interested or might want to get into it or has just been missing out and hasn't, been listening to any other podcast and looking for something new. So that's something. And of course, you guys can rate and review our podcast on all the platforms of choice, whether it be Spotify, iTunes, or even do we even use SoundCloud anymore? I think we do. Yeah, SoundCloud, stuff like that. So you guys have many options to check it out and give us your feedback, where we will read your feedback and we will take it into consideration, because without you guys, we cannot continue to keep doing this. So, of course, if you guys would like to show us more support, you can go to mash.gg/support and show all kinds of ways, whether it be on the Patreon or other services that we provide, where you can, give your take and receive some maybe some apparel or something more that you like. So we would always appreciate that. Of course, guys, make sure you stay tuned after to hear more about Mash Those Buttons and other shows that we will be hosting. So thank you guys for tuning in. That is going to be it for Double Tap. Man, we're getting close. That was 349. We're getting close to that 400 mark.
And 400, and also the end of the year.
Yes, where you guys can expect even more content coming in. So thank you guys for watching and listening. We truly appreciate it, and we are out. Peace.
Yeah.